Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the Harris School of Public Policy. My name is Sadia Sindhu, and I'm the Executive Director of the Center for Effective Government. And it is now my pleasure to introduce our Dean, Dean Boinatis Mesquita. Ethan, thank you so much. Come up here.
Hi, good evening. It sounds like you guys were having a good time up there, which I'm glad to hear. It is great to have you at Harris School during the golden age of evidence-based policy here in the United States of America. It really is. I look forward to this event every year. CLA is such an amazing institution. And we are lucky to be its home. We are lucky to have had Will and Sadia create this incredible thing for us. I know they're leaving to us, but they're still here. They've created this amazing institution that we're all here for. So can we just take a minute to acknowledge them? Yeah. The Harris School, being the public policy school at a great research university in a great American city, we think of ourselves as both having a very deep obligation to the city and to the society in which we reside, to be part of the conduit from the university into our city, into our community, to help take the knowledge that we are privileged to spend our time generating here, teaching about here, and making it of service to the community in which we live. And CLA, we are sort of privileged to host it because it is, I think, one of the great opportunities for the school to do that. When I think about the work that CLA does, it really sits at the heart of the mission of a public policy school, to take people who are deeply dedicated to public service, to serving society, and to try and provide them with opportunities to grow as professionals, to teach one another, to teach us, to learn what limited things we know here, and to bring that out into the world to make our city, to make our community, to make the world a better place. So I really can't think of an activity we engage in that is more deeply aligned with the reason that we are here, and we are extremely thankful to have you all and to have the opportunity to be the home of CLA. This is the first year in a long time that I didn't get to teach in CLA, and I really missed it. I'm hoping I will get to next year. We'll see what Chris thinks. I have, since taking on the deanship, forgotten a lot of what I used to know, and learned a lot about writing memos and looking at budgets. So it may be that I have nothing left to give, but I'm hoping to be back. Because it is really one of the great experiences of the year, and I was sorry not to do it this year. I want to welcome the 2025 cohort to what we think of as the community of Harris alumni. We think of you as an integral part of the school, and we hope you're going to come back and feel part of our community. Yeah, it's just great to have you all here. So I'm going to stop talking and let you all get on with the evening. I'm going to bring up my former colleague, now dead to me, Dean Will Howell, who is the outgoing faculty director of the Civic Leadership Academy and the inaugural dean of the competition at Johns Hopkins. Will is one of our country's great political scientists, one of the great scholars of the American presidency of his generation. He's won a lot of awards, and he's in a lot of honorary societies, and frankly, it's offensive, and I'm not going to read them all. But he has been just an absolute pillar of the University of Chicago for 20 years, a transformative leader of this organization. We are lucky to have him and proud to bring him up. Thank you.
Yeah, let's do this. So I've been here for 20 years. This is the last thing I'm going to do before we go to Johns Hopkins. And the chance to do it with all of you, what an honor and what a great pleasure. I mean, really, like, pleasure. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what is this program about? Like, what are we trying to do here? Here's one take. It's the thing that we just did, which is we are trying to make sense of institutions. We want to recognize that the institutions we've inherited aren't obviously the institutions that we need. That if we're going to actually meet profound challenges that our city, our state, our country confronts, we're going to need new architecture. We're going to need to think anew about how policy is created, how policy is implemented, how people in the government and the nonprofit sector might come together. And we just heard, you didn't hear, we heard this afternoon some really brilliant and creative and thoughtful ideas about specific institutional reforms that might be advanced, that might at the margin make a difference for people's lives in material way. This is not just an academic exercise. This is a recognition that our democracy, our city, and the people who live in it need new institutions, and let's come together and think about what they might look like. We're doing that, yeah. But as a program, when I think about it more and more, like I think what we're really in the business of is in the people business. We're in the get behind these people business and these people business who have devoted their lives to trying to make this city a better place. And could be making a whole lot more money doing something else, but want to improve community, want to intend to failure, want to lift up this beautiful troubled city that we live in. And it's a reckless investment, I'll say, insofar as it's an investment where we don't know what's going to come of it. That is, when we bring together fellows for the Civic Leadership Academy, we don't have specific designs on all of you because we really deeply believe in all of you. And what we want to do is create space where across your many differences, you might forge connection, and that you might spend time not reciting paragraphs that you know well, but to stammer through sentences that are new, where you're trying to get at something new, and you make it about halfway, and then again and again in the time that we spent together the last 6 months, somebody else would take that and run with it and complete the sentence and end up in a place that was a little bit different than anybody thought where we might land. And that what might come of that kind of investment, that open-ended investment, a belief in people and their commitments and their love of city, might lead to real change, right? Something powerful. Not altogether sure what, but something powerful. And this is something powerful. There are lots of like moments and people that I carry around in my head. When I think about quintessential CLA dispositions and commitments and joys, and I don't want to leave this place without recognizing Jessica Breyer, who was in the class of 2017. Jessica Breyer, what did she do? She worked in the public defender's office and spent her life standing up for people who were charged with doing sometimes terrible things and face the possibility of losing their children and losing their families. And Jessica Breyer saw the complexity of that and saw deeply into that, and that had no interest in lifting up pat answers for here's what we must do. And she did it with poise and commitment and grace. And she exhibited this quality which CLA Fellows exhibit, which is that in going through this program, they see more deeply, they see more of the work that they do, and yet they also find strength in that and push forward. It doesn't lead them into a state of paralysis. It doesn't lead them into this space where they say, what could I possibly do? There are trade-offs everywhere, there are no solutions to be had, a kind of a state of narcissism. It leads them to a place of conviction and a sense of, yeah, I see more, and I see that everything comes with trade-offs, and it's hard. It's hard, but I'm also gonna get after this piece that I've taken hold of. And everybody who has gone through the CLA program in their lives, day after day, does that. They grab a hold of something and try to make a difference, and it is a great honor to be in their presence and to be able to work with them and work alongside them. We care about institutions, that's for sure true. We care about institutions, we care about institutional reform, but CLA is, it's about people. And this program is about you. And we have invested in you individually, collectively, that you might be a force for change, and a force for good in this city that we love. And so when we go to DC, damn it, come together, people, and stay together, people, and be that force. Sadia, you talk about force. Sadia has been this unbelievable partner in trying to create community. And community that's worth standing up for, community that's worth believing in, and not looking for shortcuts anywhere. And it's a great honor to be having spent the last decade working together and us going together to this new adventure. But in this moment, you get to come up here and we get to honor this class, the class of 2025, which has been a great joy to be around in the last 6 months. Thank you.
Everyone's trying to make me cry today. Dear CLA 2025 graduates, distinguished family and friends, and esteemed members of the CLA community, welcome. It is with profound gratitude and deep affection that I address you today, reflecting on the remarkable journey of this program over the past 11 years. The growth we have witnessed together fills me with tremendous pride and hope for the future of public service leadership. I often describe my relationship with CLA with a word that's hard to translate. It's from Urdu, and it's amanat. Amanat is the sacred trust of stewarding something incredibly precious. The word captures the profound responsibility we have carried and the honor we have had in nurturing this extraordinary program. When Derek Douglas and Joni Friedman first envisioned CLA in 2014, they planted seeds that have flourished beyond their wildest dreams. Since William Howell and I assumed leadership in 2017, we have been privileged to witness how practitioner-focused leadership development can transform our institutions from within. Today, our thriving network encompasses over 330 distinguished government and nonprofit leaders across Chicago and Cook County, a testament to the enduring power of their original vision. Can we just have a round of applause for our fellows? And what you, dear family and friends, might not know is this entire corner over here are all alumni who are just here to support these guys and welcoming them into their community. So today marks a pivotal moment as we entrust this sacred responsibility to two exceptional leaders. CLA Director, Professor Chris Berry, and Executive Director, Milvia Rodriguez. You all have to indulge me as I tell you about my two fabulous friends here. Professor Berry brings both scholarly rigor and practical wisdom to his role. His longstanding contributions to our CLA community through his annual sessions on data, measurement, and accountability have been invaluable and have been a part of CLA from the beginning. As director of the Mansueto Institute for Urban Innovation, he has consistently advanced research that directly informs the work that our fellows undertake daily. His scholarship on how local institutions can better serve communities aligns perfectly with CLA's mission. It's a joy, truly a joy, to leave a program that means so much to you with complete confidence in your successors. Chris will provide the engaged, thoughtful leadership our fellows deserve as they navigate the complex policy challenges in their respective sectors. And with that fabulous new scarf, he's going to do it with such style. We are equally fortunate, and many of you do not have the pleasure of knowing my great friend, Milvia Rodriguez, so let me just tell you a little bit about her. She is our new executive director, and she has distinguished herself as program director of the Public Policy Undergraduate Program, one of the most sought-after majors on campus, graduating over 100 students annually. Her comprehensive oversight of all operational aspects combined with her innovative student-centered initiatives, promoting academic excellence, leadership development, mentorship opportunities, demonstrates just some of her exceptional qualities. Her founding of the Student Advisory Board and the launch of the mentorship program exemplify her commitment to creating lasting pathways for emerging leaders. But Milvia's passion for public service extends far beyond her formal responsibilities. She has masterfully built authentic partnerships between our academic communities and practitioners throughout Chicago, creating vital bridges between scholarship and real-world impact. Her leadership of university-wide initiatives, celebrating identity and fostering belonging, including her direction of the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration, reflects her deep understanding of inclusive leadership. As co-founder of a cross-departmental staff network that has grown from 7 members to over 250 participants, she has demonstrated her remarkable ability to build community and foster collaboration across diverse backgrounds. We are profoundly grateful to have such a dedicated, community-centered leader guide CLA in its next chapter. Thank you, Milvia. And in this season of change, I'm also delighted to share that Hopi Melton will continue with CLA. But in the new role of assistant director. Hopi's contributions over the last 3 years have been nothing short of extraordinary. Her steadfast, thoughtful leadership has created the foundation upon which each cohort's transformative experience has been built. Her continued involvement ensures the program's continued excellence, and I'm deeply grateful for her ongoing commitment to CLA's mission. That being said, when Hopi says she's ready to move, just know, my heartfelt appreciation, shots fired. My heartfelt appreciation also extends to the generous funders whose vision and support has made CLA possible. I do want to acknowledge them tonight: the Chicago Community Trust, the Harris Family Foundation, the Walder Foundation, the WF Fund, and the Harris School of Public Policy. I think Ethan has left, but I wanted to also thank Ethan, who has continued to invest in this program to make it what it is today. The investment of these institutions in public sector leadership development creates a ripple effect across this entire community, and we feel it. As we navigate this moment of transition, the passing of this mantle, celebrating the conclusion of CLA 2025 while anticipating the next cohort's applications, if you turn to the back of your program, I believe there's a code somewhere in there where you can refer people. Make sure you do that. I am reminded of a profound question posed by my dear friend and a CLA alum, Era Patterson. And this was after a reflective moment, after a very intense week in Paris. It used to be more intense, my friends. We've actually cut it down a bit based on some feedback. We listen, sometimes. Era asked her fellow cohort members, "What is the legacy of our city?" Notice the elegance of her inquiry. She focused not on individual achievement, but on our collective responsibility as stewards of this place we call home. Her question challenged us to consider our role in shaping the future of our city and our country. In the spirit of CLA's tradition of fostering critical thinking, I leave you with questions rather than answers. What legacy will you collectively create for our city and county? How will you, as guardians of this transformative program and its values, ensure that legacy reflects your highest aspirations for public service? And to our graduates, your dedication, your intellectual curiosity, and your commitment to excellence has been inspiring. What a joy it has been to get to know you over the last year. As you transition to alumni status, I trust and I know you will remain engaged with our extensive CLA community, serving as mentors and resources for the civic leaders who will follow in your footsteps. Congratulations to each of you. Thank you for the privilege of this shared journey. I can truly say, and I've said this upstairs and I'm going to say it again, I would not be headed to DC later this month to join William in launching Johns Hopkins School of Government and Policy had it not been for everything you all have taught me. I'm not going to cry. It's been an absolute honor, and I thank you, and I can't wait to continue to work with you all. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce the fabulous and stylish CLA Faculty Director, Chris Berry.
Well, hello, everybody. Boy, what a true honor to follow Will Howell in this position. And I say follow because no one can replace Will Howell, but I can follow him. And you guys might not know this, but Will and I have been following each other most of our careers. Will and I first met as, I won't say how many years ago, but in, let's say, the early 2000s, at Harvard as very new faculty members there. And I was the first to leave to come here to the University of Chicago, to the Harris School. And the first thing I did was turn around and say, we must recruit Will Howell to the Harris School. And I think that was in year one of my being here that we managed to persuade Will to come. Will and I then put our heads together and said, we need to recruit this new person on the market named Ethan Bueno de Mesquita. And Will and I and Ethan, over the next 20 years, set about investing and building up the Harris School, put our time into integration of institutions, Will in CLA, and Ethan and I in many other things. And since that time, Ethan and Will have both become deans. And I remain but a humble professor. Which means that after all these years, only one of us still has a good job. My job is about to get a lot better as I take over CLA. And I get to do this with Milvia Rodriguez and with Hopi Melton. And I can truly tell you, I would not be doing this if Hopi had not agreed to stay on. And I'm pleased to bring on the Mansueto Institute, which I also run as a partner in CLA. So I've lectured in CLA for many years, as Sadia said, I think perhaps from the beginning, but I'd never seen the program in its totality, never seen any lecture other than mine. And so I spent this year shadowing Will and Sadia through the program and learning what it was all about. And I'll admit that when I began, I was a little skeptical about this program on leadership, because when I hear leadership, education, I tend to think of these books in airport bookstores. And you know, I said, is this really a University of Chicago thing? These books, because the top books right now in leadership include the following: 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Begin with we. 10 principles for building a culture of excellence. Be the unicorn. 12 data-driven habits that separate the best leaders. 5 levels of leadership. Not to be confused with the 5 dysfunctions of a team. So, apologies if anyone's an author of one of those books. I admit I haven't read them. So I had my doubts. Was this really a University of Chicago field? But imagine when I came to review the syllabus for CLA. What did I see? Bartleby the Scrivener. A lesser Millville, but nevertheless. We saw The Prince by Machiavelli. We had our own Dean's book, Thinking Clearly with Data. We read Adam Green's How a Brutal Race Riot Shaped Chicago. How different are these two lists? The first list says, we have it all figured out. It boils down to these 21 or 5 or 10 or 12 things. The second list says, we're going to try to work on this together. And that's what we've done. And I can tell you, after having spent this time in CLA, that I realized that CLA is not about any of these readings, and it's not really about any of the speakers that came in to teach us about those readings. CLA is about creating a space and a time for reflection, contemplation, conversation, and bonding. It's about everything that happens after the readings and the speakers. Okay. It's really about investing in our own humanity, individually and collectively, and in the humanity of our city. That's what CLA is about. And it has never been more important because civic institutions are facing unprecedented threats. Who are we at CLA? We are universities and intellectuals. We are the media. We are independent cities and counties. We are philanthropy. We are arts and culture organizations. We are organizations that serve the vulnerable and marginalized, including immigrants and refugees. We are also the police and public safety organizations. And so we have never been more important. And with that, I make a commitment to Will and to Sadia and to all of you. CLA is just getting started. We will not rest until Bartleby the Scrivener has attained its rightful place in the airport bookstores, perhaps under its revised title, 7 Habits of Highly Ineffective Scriveners. Nevertheless, it shall be there. So CLA will continue. And as far as my vision for the future, I want to be very clear. I don't plan to change a lot. One change I do want to make is one that I want to speak to the alumni in particular, but this alumni now includes all the people right in front of me and the people to my left. One of the things that we heard from our CLA Fellows today was, in closing, how do we keep this going? How do we keep these conversations happening? How do we keep this community together? How do we help CLA continue beyond these 6 months that we just spent together? And so my one initiative that I want to start immediately upon taking over is to call on an alumni advisory group to help us organize more alumni engagement, both with one another, with students, with incoming fellows. And so that'll be a big initiative. You'll be hearing from me about that. Otherwise, we want to keep things the same. And before I introduce our fellows who will be speakers today, I want to thank all the fellows, everyone here in front of me, for allowing me to share this journey with you this year. I sat in the back and on the side a lot, but I was paying attention. And I really, if every cohort that comes in, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, is as decent a group of people as you are, it's going to be truly a great joy. And they shouldn't pay me any. Dean has left, right? They won't have to pay me anything to do this. So thank you. And now I want to introduce 2 of our fellows from 2025 who will speak. I think I'll just introduce you both at once, and then you can come up. First, we have Kathy Kulik, and Kathy is the director of the North Lawndale Collaborative at Chicago CRED. Kathy is focused on scaling CVI. CVI, I learned, is Community Violence Intervention. Scaling CVI for a Safer Chicago. This is an initiative that she's running at the North Lawndale Collaborative, and it's really a model. It's going to become a model for communities all around Chicago. Previously, she served as a director at Bright Star Community Outreach, where she increased funding and grew community partnerships. She launched workforce initiatives that boosted job placement rates and fostered cross-sector collaborations. She was awarded the Community Builder Award in 2019 by the Chicago Urban League and holds a bachelor's degree in psychology from Capella University. We will hear from her. Next, I want to introduce Luis Cepeda. Oh, there you are. Yep. Luis began his career in 2007 as a ward superintendent with the Chicago Department of Streets and Sanitation. He was promoted to assistant general superintendent in 2017, where as an emergency management response liaison, he worked as an operations manager for the city's COVID response, while continuing his everyday job responsibilities, earning him the 2021 Kathy Osterman Award. In 2021, Luis was promoted to first deputy commissioner for the Department of Streets and Sanitation, second in command for a 2,000-person city department. In this role, Luis oversees general operations, represents the department in multiple citywide task forces, coordinates natural disaster responses, and manages ethics compliance for all personnel. Luis is a lifelong Chicagoan, was born and raised on the city's southeast side, and attended the Latin School and Boston College. So, we welcome Luis and Kathy, and the stage is yours. You're good.
Ooh. Yeah. Standing here tonight as a graduate of the Civic Leadership Academy is something I'll always be proud of, but not just because of what I've learned, it's because of who I've learned alongside and who I've become in the process. That growth didn't happen in a vacuum. It's been shaped by a path grounded in public service. I've spent my professional life in city government, starting as an aldermanic intern, then a ward superintendent, meeting neighbors on porches, attending block club meetings, figuring out how to get things done, and working my way up the organization. Today, I serve as first deputy commissioner of a 2,000+ person department that helps keep the city running. I'm in that role because Commissioner Stollard saw leadership in me before I even saw it in myself. Wow. And gave me the opportunity to step up. That kind of belief isn't just validating, it's a responsibility I carry with deep gratitude. And when that responsibility starts to feel heavy, when the work feels overwhelming, I think about where I started. I remember the neighborhood I came from, 89th and Escanaba in South Chicago, a place where opportunity wasn't guaranteed, but community still showed up. That's what anchors me. Because long before I was managing city operations, I was watching everyday people hold things together with grit, generosity, and grace. That's where I first learned what leadership really looks like. Those early lessons shaped my instincts. In moments of crisis, floods, snowstorms, major events, I have leaned on what I know: operations, logistics, and structure. That version of leadership got results, but CLA challenged me to ask, is execution enough? Or is it time to lead differently? For the first time in a long time, I paused, I reflected, and I realized I've spent my career mastering systems, but rarely questioning them. That reflection deepened in Paris, where our global practicum pushed us to see leadership through an international lens, across governments, cultures, and histories. It reminded me that leadership doesn't stop at city limits. It means understanding how our local government works and connects to the global struggles for equity, justice, and belonging. It expanded my vision and reminded me that purpose has to be the compass. But it wasn't just the formal sessions that shaped us. It was the conversations on the train rides, the late night talks after class, the flight back home, the unexpected moments when someone asked a hard question and we just sat with it. Those informal moments, unguarded and real, were just as powerful, if not more. That's when the walls truly came down. That's when we learned how to sit in discomfort, to listen more deeply, and to trust one another. And that trust made the hard conversations better, the learning deeper, and the leadership more honest. What makes this cohort so special is how we leaned into building bonds across roles and agencies. We didn't just explore civic leadership, we practiced it. I came into CLA focused on outcome. I leave committed to purpose, especially in hardship. Because civic leadership will test you. The pressure, the pace, the politics, none of it ever lets up. But CLA reminded me that staying focused in those moments means reconnecting to why the work matters. Who benefits if I stay the course? Who loses if I don't? And with that purpose came a deeper understanding of resilience. I've learned resilience isn't just about pushing through, it's about how we push through, about setting boundaries without guilt, about creating cultures of care, not just depending on self-care, about naming what's hard instead of pretending it's not. In one of our last classes, Dr. Lee reminded us that stress doesn't just live in our minds, it lives in our bodies. That our ability to lead, care, and show up depends on the emotional ecosystems we create. He echoed what we've seen, that resilience without reflection can wear us down, even when we look like we're holding it all together. CLA taught us to do more than perform strength. It taught us to lead sustainably, to stop confusing burnout with impact and start choosing grounded presence. Because ultimately, civic leadership isn't about being the loudest voice in the room, though I'm sure Hopi and Sadia appreciated when I used my voice to tell everyone to sit down and quiet down. Some of you saw it upstairs in live action just before the toast. But it's about leading with purpose when the path is unclear, about building power with and not over, and knowing when to step back and make space. But the most powerful thing I'm leaving with isn't a concept, it's a community. People like Kathy Kulik, whose CVI work in North Lawndale shows what it means to lead with healing and proximity. We come from different sectors, but this cohort showed just how interconnected we really are. Across neighborhoods, across silos, across systems, we've built a network rooted in trust, which brings me to the charge I want to leave with all of us tonight. Don't just lead when the conditions are right, lead when the stakes are real. When systems stall, when the room gets quiet, when the path isn't clear, that's when civic leadership matters most. Let's commit to leading with clarity when pressure clouds our vision, integrity when shortcuts seem tempting, compassion when urgency threatens to outspace dignity, and courage when the cost of silence is too high. Ask yourself every day, who is not at this table? Whose voice isn't being heard? And what am I willing to risk to make space for them? We didn't just complete a program, we've inherited a responsibility. So go back to your teams, your agencies, and your communities, and build something that outlasts you. Let's lead like the next generation is watching, because as I look out into this crowd, they already are. I didn't cry.
So I just actually might cry, just so you guys know. Before I start, I would be beside myself if I did not take a moment just to recognize on this platform here that the city is currently seeing a 39% reduction in shootings. And yeah, you can clap for that, that's okay, yes. And even though they're not here tonight because they're probably in the streets doing direct service, just to every CVI worker, which stands for Community Violence Intervention, yes, your dedication is saving lives and shaping futures. Thank you for standing out on the front lines of peace. I used to think leadership was about structure, aligning partners, managing contracts, keeping the machine running. CLA transformed more than just my leadership style. It reshaped how I understand who I am while I'm leading. From the very first session with Professor Harry Davis, we were invited to sit with discomfort. The authenticity paradox taught me that our most authentic self may not fully be formed yet, and that leadership isn't about perfecting a style. It's about becoming the version of yourself that the work and the moment calls forward, a version grounded in courage, vision, and connection. CLA didn't tell me how to lead. It gave me permission to lead as I am, permission to unlearn, to stop pretending like I have all of the answers, and begin showing up with authenticity and presence. This wasn't a simple course correction. It was a deep unraveling, a transformation rooted less in tactics and more in identity. I wasn't just being taught how to lead better, I was being called how to lead braver. And what I learned in that unraveling is this. You guys ready? Okay. Strategy alone will not move people. Trust does. Every vision, no matter how well thought out, must be grounded in relationships, because real leadership lives at the intersection of agitation, innovation, and orchestration. It means naming the hard truths, envisioning what doesn't yet exist, and aligning people and systems toward a shared purpose. And yes, leadership is also about access and opportunity, but it's also about belonging, about challenging systems that were never meant for us, and creating spaces where our presence isn't just permitted, but accepted. I know how it feels to navigate systems not built for Black, brown, immigrant, and working class families, but now, after CLA, I know what it means to show up and lead anyway. Not in just my title, but in truth, boldly and confidently. Through CLA, I finally found the language to express what I've always known as truth. Civic leadership doesn't just move systems, it moves people. It doesn't just navigate power, it redistributes it. It shifts norms, rewrites rules, and says, we belong here. And to echo my dear friend Luis, what changed me most wasn't what I learned, it was who I learned it with. This cohort, you all are my family. You all are a reminder that I am not in this alone. Luis is the uncle to my daughter he's never met. Devon always has 12 minutes to ask every single question that gets to the truth. And my dear Chris, who holds more greatness than he will ever recognize. And everyone else who hold up mirrors and make sure I see myself clearly, even on the days I want to look away. These are not just classmates. You all are co-strategists, soul allies, accountability partners. We've built something sacred in the in-between where our titles do not matter, but honesty and relationship do. So no, I don't leave CLA with just takeaways. I leave with values. Authenticity isn't comfort, it's clarity. Resilience isn't just about holding on, it is evolving with intention. And I got it, guys. I got it. You ready? Leadership. Leadership, it's how you personify a purpose so meaningful that others in your presence, as Will Howell and Stephen Walton write, willingly exert effort to achieve shared goals. That is leadership. Which brings me to the book that grounds this moment for me. Until the Lion Speaks by Billy Moore. He's actually how I got into cred. Inspired by an African proverb, until the lion learns to write, every story will glorify the hunter. For too long, the story has belonged to those who conquer and not those who carry. But in the class of 2025, I found co-authors, leaders who challenge with care and build across difference with trust and intention. So to my cohort and to the other fellows in the room, we were never meant to wait our turn. We were meant to write a new story. We are not simply stepping into a different type of leadership. We are reclaiming the pen. This is our moment to lead with courage, to lead with truth and with each other, to build systems that reflect our people, to lift voices long silenced, to lead from the in-between and bring others with us. We are the lions, and now we're the ones telling the story. I would like to the entire Chicago Cred team here today, you are the family that I've chosen, and I thank you for standing with me and believing in me. To Jen Keeling, where is Jen? There's Jen. There's not even enough time. You inspire me more than you will ever know. I truly see you as a role model, both in leadership and just how you show up every day as a person for people that you don't know. To my family, especially my kids, thank you for sharing me with the communities that I serve every day. Your love makes my work possible. And I just hope I am an inspiration to know that you all can achieve everything.
I'd also like to thank the City of Chicago for continuing to invest in this powerful program. To my DSS and city work colleagues, especially those as my guests here tonight, thank you for becoming more than just co-workers. You've become friends and family, a network of support and strength that I deeply value. To my actual family, thank you for being my grounding force. Your love and encouragement have sustained me, but especially to my mother, gracias por todo tu sacrificio. Your strength has made mine possible. To the CLA team, Will, Sadia, Hopi, and Chris, thank you for creating a space where we could stretch, reflect, and lead with intention. Will and Sadia, you will be missed tremendously. But on the bright side, I now have a real shot at having the best scarf game in the city. So, good riddance, Will.
And Sadia, just leave your dress collection behind. To the incredible CLA class of 2025, thank you for making this experience unforgettable. We are, without a doubt, the best class in the last decade of the Will and Sadia era. May we keep showing up with discipline, heart, humanity, and hope. Congratulations, Civic Leadership Academy, class of 2025. Continue to take the shot. Give me a hug.
So much. Hold it back.
You all can purchase this book on Amazon.
Or the airport.
Or the airport.
Got my water. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to Kathy and Luis for those remarks. They were incredible. Just a real quick thank you to my people, to Will and Sadia. We're gonna miss you way too much. Please don't go. There's still time. You don't need to leave yet. No, but I'm so excited to be staying on for this journey with Chris and Milvia. Thank you all so much. I have the great honor to present to you all the 2025 Civic Leadership Academy Fellows. With that, I'd love to invite Will and Sadia up to the stage to present the certificates. To the fellows, when I call your name, please come over here, across the stage to receive your certificate. All right. You guys ready? Yeah, perfect. All right, and with that, Nida Abbasi, MacArthur Foundation. Get the good photo. Definitely time for a photo. Tosif Akbar, University of Chicago, WF Fund Fellow. Kenneth Belcarcel, City Colleges of Chicago, Waldorf Foundation Fellow. Lisa Bly Jones, Chicago Jobs Council. Jeremy Bryant, Elevate. Chris Chavez, Chicago Housing Authority.
Congratulations.
Kathy Kulik, Chicago Cred.
It was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Deanna Dorica, Cook County Department of Public Health.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks.
Sylvia Gemian, Chicago Department of Public Health. James Harris, Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection. Noreen Hashim Jawani, Illinois Commission for Volunteerism. Sully Hatch, the Academy Group.
Looking good. Thank you.
Laura Houle, Kara Robertson Center for Learning, and Jessica Breyer Scholar.
Congratulations.
Kwesa Itaji, Grow Greater Englewood. Oh my God. Audrey Jonas, Cook County Bureau of Asset Management. No, I was gonna. Congrats. Are you guys? Devon LaRosa, Chicago Public Schools. Rory McHale, Law Office of the Cook County Public Defender. Robin Murphy, Civilian Office of Police Accountability.
I talked to him.
Kanako Ishida Musselwhite, Cook County Department of Budget and Management Services.
Congratulations.
Philip Natesty, Chicago Architecture Center. Lucretia Parks, Chicago Community Loan Fund.
You got the big shoes.
Eleanor Perone Turiski, Civic Consulting Alliance.
Congratulations.
Tawaga Roberts, Chicago Police Department. Robert Rodemeyer, Cook County State's Attorney's Office. I think that one was for Matt Stern, Chicago Department of Housing. Ali Tarok, New Americans Advisory Council, Walter Foundation Fellow.
Congratulations.
Alexa Van Brunt, MacArthur Justice Center. Ariel Van Cleve, WBEZ. And last but never least, Luis Cepeda, Chicago Department of Streets and Sanitation. Okay, we've clapped so many times for them, but one more round of applause for the 2025 cohort. Congratulations. And a thank you so much to our alumni, their friends, your friends and family. Thank you all so much for giving us your people for 6 months. Our organizational colleagues and supporters, thank you again for coming tonight.
And since this is the last time that Will Howell and I will share a stage at the University of Chicago, we just wanted to also say a deep thank you to our team. So up there, you'll see Sammy Williams. Woo! And my dear colleague, Megan, who alongside Sammy, Hopi, and Kat have helped us build this organization. Thank you both so much. Thank you, all of you. We couldn't have done this work without you. And it's been an immense pleasure working with you.
And with that, I say we go upstairs. Please enjoy the food and drink reception up here and enjoy the night. Thank you all so much for coming.